Today's topic: taking responsibility for the way the other person feels. Hi, I'm Doug Holt, with author of Your Own Story, and this is your daily growth hack, where each day we give you a tip, trick, or insight to help you up-level what we call the 5 to thrive. That's your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, and your business. Today I'm going to talk about relationships, and what I'm going to talk about are more romantic relationships, although this can be applied across the board. This can be applied to friendships, to coworkers in business, an employee, or maybe a boss, depending on where you're working. So just any interpersonal relationship. Oftentimes what happens, especially in our daily life, right? We have things coming at us at all the times. We have text messages, phone calls, emails, the TV's on, the radio's on. We're always constantly being stimulated. And oftentimes that affects our communication. And the reason it affects our communication is oftentimes things are said and misinterpreted. Now, this can happen by text messages or chats often, because you can't hear the emotion that somebody's sending through. You can really misinterpret that. But even talking one-on-one, you can misinterpret the intention of something that somebody says in our busy lifestyle. So let me give you an example. Now, this is an old example from way back when my wife and I were just married, or just started dating, actually. Something that kind of could have happened, and I don't have one off recollection, but this is the way it might go, and you might be able to relate to this. Maybe I came home from work, and I just noticed that the kitchen counter was just messy, and I might have said, "Geez, the kitchen's so messy." And then she might have replied right away, taking offense, thinking I was attacking her, saying, "Well, gosh, I'm working all day too. You could do something." And then that would escalate. "Hey, that's not what I meant." But by saying that's not what I meant, does that ever really help? No. No one just stops and goes, "Oh, that's not what you meant? Well, geez, please tell me." And it doesn't work that way. Emotions start to escalate. They go kind of up an escalation ladder. Now, backing into that, she would ask for an apology. "Yeah, apologize to me." Well, I'm not apologizing, I would say. I didn't say anything wrong. You're just being sensitive, which is always, guys, the worst thing to say, right? But back then, I just wasn't as clear. I'd be like, "Look, I'm not apologizing. I wasn't wrong in this situation. I just simply made an observation that the counter is a mess, and you took it the wrong way. That's your fault, your problem." Now, I know this sounds like I'm being a jerk, and I'm making this example up, but I kind of was a jerk, I guess, because I didn't know any better back then. And I didn't want to apologize. My pride did not want me to apologize, and my integrity, because I didn't want to lie and say, "Gee, I'm sorry, that I said that," because I wasn't sorry I said it. But what I came to understand is what I really was sorry for was the way that she felt. I never wanted to hurt her feelings. I love and cherish my wife. I want her to always be happy. So what I've learned to do over time is apologize for the way the other person feels, the way that my words landed. So that I own that responsibility between the communication, between what comes out of my mouth and how it lands in that other person's brain. And so what I would say now is, "Geez, I'm so sorry I hurt your feelings. I didn't mean that at all, and I love and cherish you. So let me explain what I'm trying to say." When I say that, I've taken ownership. I've apologized for hurting her feelings. And now her defenses go down, right? Her defenses go down so she can relax and actually receive what I'm about to say. Where previously, it would just be her defenses would go up, and then she would react. My defenses would go up, I would react, and we'd go back and forth with this volley that was never productive. And it resulted in both of us sitting on the couch upset, or me going to my office and her going somewhere else, and just that constant clash until we were able to make up. Now, this happens all across the board. It happens in business often. It happens with friends. So what I've learned to do is take responsibility of my words and how they land on the other people. Now, this doesn't mean lying or apologizing for what I say. Sometimes I do if I say something wrong, of course. But oftentimes it's like, "Hey, I'm sorry that didn't land properly. Let me try this again. I really respect you, and I really want you to understand where I'm coming from, and I want to understand where you're coming from and make sure you feel heard." Now, if someone told you that, how do you react? You get angry? No, you're like, "Wow, this person wants to hear what I have to say." And yes, I do. And so I want to make you feel heard. I don't only want to hear you. I want to make you feel heard. And that's a big difference, right? So if my wife were to say something to me, then I could come back and repeat it back to her, but she may not feel heard. And that's a difference. And that took me a while to learn the difference between feeling heard and being heard, right? So I can recite things verbatim, very logically, exactly what she said. But to her, she didn't feel heard. She didn't feel understood is really what she was telling me from the heart center. And that's how we're all communicating, whether you realize that or not. In business, oftentimes, when you're doing business. So my life as a coach, I have to actually feel into what people are saying. And when I feel and I focus and I'm present, People are allowed to pour out. They're allowed to tap into the best of themselves. I create that physical space in space that they can actually come into and step into their power. And I want the same thing. So what I'm going to talk to you about is what I want you to do is list maybe the top 5 most important relationships in your life right now. The top 5. And what I want you to journal about is where in those top 5 have you had conflicts? And maybe, or you've had conflicts where you don't feel fully understood or heard. And what I want you to do is reach out to those people. Reach out to each of these people, and then I want you to listen. I want you to fully hear them. I want you to call them. So maybe I'll call a friend of mine, Perry. Maybe I'll reach out and say, hey, Perry, I know the last time that we talked, things were just a little off, but I really want to understand where you're coming from. And it's really important to me. Our friendships is really important to me. And I really want to know what's going on. So talk to me, tell me what's happening, what's going on right now. And I want to make sure you feel it. Now, after Perry exchanges, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but you need to step into that power because this is your life. This is your story. You're the author of your own story and you want to live an epic life. And an epic life has connection. And sometimes that requires you to be braver than the other person and step out into an uncomfortable space. And when you step out to this uncomfortable space and having this dialogue, I might say, after Perry's done telling me, and I say, geez, that's really interesting, what I'm hearing you say, and kind of repeat back. Now, again, oftentimes, especially when I'm talking to guys, I might switch it up a little bit, but it sounds a little therapy-ish, but they actually walk away feeling really good. It's like, holy cow, how often is someone really listening to you? And then I'll talk to them and say, hey, look, last time we talked, we walked away from the conversation, it just didn't feel good. I want to apologize for not communicating as well as I could, because again, this relationship's really important to me. Now, I'm not apologizing for anything I said, but I'm apologizing for the way it landed. So again, I want you to pull your journal, write down your top 5 people, and write down any recent conflicts or miscommunications. When I say miscommunications, communications where you have not felt fully understood, completely understood, or that they haven't felt fully understood. Now go clear that up. Now remember, this is the time to take action. Yeah, you can call them tomorrow, next week, but in my experience, that never happens. So call them now. Call them, write them, email them now. Do it. Take action. You will feel so much better, and so will they, and you'll be stepping into your power. I can guarantee you that just by doing this one simple exercise, you will feel better about yourself, you'll have more energy, and it'll allow you to fulfill your dreams that much quicker. That's all I have today. If you like this, of course, build your tribe. Share this with 5 people you know. In fact, you can share this with the 5 people that you're going to talk to and tell them you're doing this exercise. Share the love. That's what we're here for. We're here to make the world a better place, and we're here to help you become the author of your own story. So part of that is building your tribe. And by building your tribe, tell people what you're listening to. Tell people to share those conversations. These conversations that you and I are having right here, right now, share them with people. That's it for me today. Remember, go out and be the author of your own story. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Growth Hacks. Please put your comments right down below, and remember to click subscribe. This way we can ensure that we're delivering these daily growth hacks right to you each and every day. On behalf of the whole team here, remember, go out and be the author of your own story.